to the computer. Okay, great. Well, I am super excited about this. And first of all, I just want to thank all of you for joining us and am super excited to introduce my dear friend. I'm Leanne Isolda. This is my husband, Alan. We have been looking forward to this all day. And I absolutely love the title. I know you all saw it, but like, how great. Make the holidays better days and have the guts to enjoy. So I think of going into the holidays is a little more going on, a lot more connection with special people, and a lot of those favorite foods that are probably good we don't eat every day. A little more stress, maybe. So I cannot wait to hear what you're going to share tonight. Um, so let me just introduce my amazing longtime friend, Loisann. It is always just a joy to get to hear you and to introduce you. So let me tell you a couple of things about Loisann Fowler. She is a native Floridian, which might be a little bit rare. She's also a mom of five who homeschooled. That could be a little bit rare too. And she holds a Bachelor of Science in biology from Auburn. And really, she fell in love with biology in high school, and it has become just a passion. She currently teaches high school biology online for Apologia. And she is also a nationally board certified functional medicine health and wellness coach, a graduate of the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy, and the owner of Coach in Tandem, a health coaching service. So tonight, Loisann is going to teach us. I always come with lots of paper because I take lots of notes, but she's gracious and she said she would stay on a few minutes at the end. If anybody has a question, absolutely, you'll have the opportunity to either ask her or put it in the chat at the end. So we're super thankful for that too. So Loisann, thank you so much. This is going to be fun and I'm excited. So thank you again for doing this.
Mhm. You're welcome, Leanne. Thank you so much. Such a nice introduction. And we have been friends for a long, long time, and it's a beautiful gift to be friends. And it's wonderful to have some of my family on tonight. It was super fun. Nicole, I see you there. So grateful that all of us can be together, new and long time friends. So yes, I am a health and wellness coach, and I absolutely love what I do. I also teach, like she said, and I love that too, because I love to learn, and I would imagine that many of you are the same way. Um, just learning. There's so much to learn, and we're designed to take in more and more information. So it's a great part of living to continue to learn. And sometimes it's in our difficulties that we learn the most because if we have a health challenge, all of a sudden we're, thrust into this world that we didn't know much about. And it becomes our main focus. And so with that in mind, tonight is really all about having the guts to enjoy our holidays, if I could just shorten it. And that is a play on words of really the gut microbiome or the intestinal microbiome. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to share a couple of slides just to keep us on track. And and I think, yeah, there they go. Um, That should, there we go. Perfect. I'm trusting y'all can see the slides now. Is that good? Okay, great. And we will ask questions at the end if you don't mind. So we'll just wait till I get through. But get them in the chat if you want to, and or write them down. That's great. I love, love, love questions. In this world, kind of like Leanne alluded to, we are, moving at a crazy fast pace. We are more stressed. We are more overwhelmed. We are more rushed and really more disconnected with others than we ever have been. Even though all these devices are supposed to connect us better, and it does help, but for some reason we don't necessarily have as deep of relationships as one, as our forefathers, so to speak, used to. Sitting on the front porch and spending lots of time together. But we also hear about um, uh, what the holidays bring. And right now, we're sitting right on the precipice of these holidays beginning. Some want to make me think that that this is a little side personal thing, but some in the marketing world want to make me think that Halloween is our first holiday of the fall, but I refuse to think of it as a holiday. I think of it as an event, but it is not a happy holiday. So I think of Thanksgiving as the beginning of the holiday season, and we finish, the season with Christmas. That's my world. We have lots of different thoughts and beliefs on that, but. I feel like I'm sitting right on the precipice of the beginning of the holidays, and that brings on um, lots of excitement, lots of what are we going to do? Planning and gathering, and so, like Leanne mentioned, it can be stressful. It can bring on things that cause us to not get the right sleep. So, in our health discussions all over. Where we get our news, we often hear about we need to get enough sleep. We need to protect our heart health. We need to take care of our eyes. Make sure you see the ophthalmologist. We need to see our dentist. There are lots of things that we need to take care of. Dermatology is big now. There's lots of skin cancers that are showing up. So go see your dermatologist. We're always getting these encouragements to stay on top of all these different things of our health. Uh, um, and you might have noticed that there's this kind of newer topic, not totally new, but it's really taken off in the last few years, and that's the microbiome, the gut microbiome health, because it is a huge deal. It is such a huge deal that I hope I can get it across tonight. It is the center of everything. It's the center of all of those things I just mentioned and more. It's the center of your brain health. It's the center of your skin health. It's the center of your moods, of your ability to handle viruses that come in your body or um, cancer cells that start to grow. It is the center of everything, and we are now getting a handle on that. We still have so much to learn, but it is now in the common medical journals and publications that that is true. So I want to, first of all, help us understand why it's in our best interest to improve our gut health. And then secondly, how do we even do that? So I'm just two simple things tonight, and I really hope it helps because the gut microbiome really does impact everything. And if it does really impact everything, then it's going to impact our holidays. So it's going to impact tonight when we're asleep, and it's going to impact our entire holidays. So this, I just kind of said I was, thinking of maybe one of the old movies, but cells everywhere. Uh, we are made up of cells. You guys know this, but sometimes it helps to go back to the basics to understand something new. And this slide to me tells it all. So, I mentioned eyes. Our eyes are made up of cells. We know our skin is made up of cells, and they slough off. We know that our heart maybe, oh, we think of that as muscle, but guess what? Muscle is made up of cells. So everything in our body, from our brain to our toes, is made up of different kinds of cells. We have trillions of them in our body, but look at this pie chart. So human cells are the blue, but bacterial cells are that golden yellow color. That's the percentage of cells in a human body. And then look at the green. Did you know that your body has fungal cells in it too? And in actuality, and Leanne and I were discussing this earlier today, it is my understanding that if we were created from the earth, um, we have a symbiotic relationship with the earth. And this is evidence. We now know this scientifically. We have more bacterial cells in and on our body than we have human cells. That's crazy to think about, but it's true. We now have evidence of that under the microscope. So, if that's true, then we're to live in symbiotic relationship with these bacteria, these fungi, and viruses that are all around us. And so, how do we do that? Well, what's interesting is that we don't just have a gut microbiome. We also have a microbiome in our mouth. We have a microbiome in our nose. We have eye microbiome. We have skin microbiome. The last time you got, a good sweat on, that you were exercising and you sweated, the sweat that comes up on our skin actually is designed not only to cool our skin, yes, it cools our body so we don't get overheated internally, but it also is designed to wash away the pathogenic bacteria that are on our skin. That's why exercise is so good for our immune system. Well, it's one reason, but we have a microbiome on our skin, and we have good microbiota and we have not so good that are more pathogenic. Well, sweat helps wash and rinse those away. So we have a microbiome everywhere. You're very familiar with ones in the intestine, represented here by the colon, which is the large intestine, part of the large intestine, but we also have it in our lungs. We have it in our sexual organs. I mean, we have a microbiota everywhere. Our brain even has a microbiome. So with that in mind, uh, the science is just exploding. And all areas of science are now starting to focus on what do these bacteria look like and how can we enhance their jobs on our in and on our bodies. And the arrows on the left are things that impact all those areas, so they can either improve our microbiome, uh, make the healthier bacteria flourish, or they can harm. Our choices really do make a difference in all parts of our health. Yes, we're born with DNA, but we also know now that there are these little epigenetics on top of our basic DNA, and those get flipped on and off by our lifestyle choices. What we eat, what we don't eat, the toxins we have in our environment, all of those things. So, um, so we get a choice um, as to how to make our microbiome healthy. So before I get to that next slide on the how to, what does the microbiome even do? If we have all these bacteria, more like 40, it looks like 40 times more, doesn't it, on that pie chart than our body cells, then what do they do? Well, I'll just talk about the microbiome in our intestines. What do all those good bacteria do? Just there. Okay, I already told you a little bit about the skin, but just there. Well, they synthesize a lot of very important things that you might not realize. So they synthesize almost all the B vitamins. When you take in food, they use that food to then synthesize means to make. It means to create. And they're designed, these healthy, good bacteria in our guts are designed to actually make from all the little things you give them from your food, the B vitamins, things like folate and riboflavin, B12, B6, niacin. They make a lot of our B vitamins. So when our gut is not healthy, you can see it in your blood. You don't have a very high B vitamin count, and that's unfortunate. So they synthesize those things. They also synthesize another vitamin you've heard of, and that's K. Vitamin K is very important in our ability to absorb vitamin D. And a lot of us take a supplement, that is vitamin D plus K2. Uh, but your gut actually synthesizes it if it's a healthy gut. And so and they synthesize all kinds of other things, but those are things that we've heard of, that you and I can relate to. The gut microbiome, all of these bacteria in our gut also help us digest, meaning break down our foods into smaller parts so that they can be absorbed through the gut lining into our blood, travel around and help all the, organ systems that need nutrition, and all of them do, right? So the healthier our gut is, the more we're able to digest our food, and then the more nourished the rest of our entire body will be. The bacteria in your intestines is doing that. If you have too few of the healthy bacteria, then you're not digesting your food very well. That shows up in the bathroom, and you're not absorbing the nutrients from your food very well. So that means you have low energy, you have low vitamin B level, you have low vitamin K levels, you have low mood, lots of impact when we're not absorbing the nutrients from our food. And it goes back to those bacteria. So you see why it's very, very central. That's a basic thing for life, is nutrition and absorbing it into our bodies. And the bacteria really give us the ability to do that. So if we're having bloating, if we're having reflux, if we're having heartburn, if we're having loose stools or constipation or any of those kinds of things, those are not normal, guys. They're not normal. And that those are signs of an unhealthy, imbalanced gut microbiome. And it can be helped. It really, really, really can be. And I'm going to tell you a story or two at the end. The other thing they do is promote, I mean, if you can think in your mind's eye, you know that the image of the gut, right? The large intestine is all around the outside, and the small intestine is all wrapped up into that spaghetti-like inner part of our intestines. Um, it's all a tube. You probably know that. It's all a tube. And that tube creates a lining, and that lining is, the lumen, it's called, the opening of the tube is what everything passes through. And it hangs around for a little while the nutrients are absorbed out from that intestine into the blood and taken to everywhere in our body. Well, the bacteria in our gut help that tissue of that lumen, the tissue of the entire intestinal tract, stay healthy. Helps keep things moving along, no pun intended, maybe pun intended. It helps keep things in the proper form and the proper consistency. The bacteria are doing all of that. And we don't have to tell them. If we have a healthy amount, they're doing it well. If we don't, then if the bad guys are outnumbering the good guys, then we have some dysbiosis. They also are in charge of all the pathogens, all the toxins, all the bad things, moving them on out. The bacteria are in charge of that. They break them down so that they will not harm us anymore, and they help get rid of them. That's another thing they do. And they're also, I mentioned synthesizing vitamins, but they're also synthesizing hormones and neurotransmitters. You guys know what hormones are, of course. Um, I'm mostly going to mention the hormones that are interacting with our brain. We have hormones that impact how our brain functions, like serotonin and dopamine. You've heard of those. The these are those two in particular are started by the bacteria. They start the process, initiate the process of making serotonin and dopamine, two very critical mood neurotransmitters that then they start that process, and then it finishes in the brain. So that is happening. Also, something known as GABA, which is another neurotransmitter that helps regulate our stress. It's actually an inhibitor of the stress hormones. So if you have high cortisol and high epinephrine and adrenaline, GABA is the one that works opposite of that. And that is synthesized in our microbiome. So when we have an unhealthy microbiome, our stress hormones are higher and our calming hormones are lower. So that's a direct impact. And you can see how You might have heard of the gut-brain axis. The gut-brain axis is the communication between the brain and the gut. They are in constant communication. They are in constant, uh, talk about a symbiotic relationship. They are constantly working to help you and I be healthy and well and mood regulation and just all of the things. So it's a big deal. That you might have also heard, and some of you may even be using them, of the GLP-1s. Those are now have been created as a pharmaceutical, but guess what? Those are synthesized in our guts by bacteria. When we have a healthy gut with plenty of healthy bacteria, we're secreting those particular um, GLP-1s, which they're proteins, and they are what communicate with our brain that we're satisfied with our food, that we are full, and help can moderate our cravings. So we're having this, you know, epidemic of people who aren't secreting enough GLP-1s. And so, the pharmacological world has, come to bat for that and created a medicine. And if you and I will do the things that I'm going to encourage us to do tonight, we can help that be normalized in our gut because we're going to feed the good bacteria the best things to secrete that naturally, and then give us a very healthy uh, approach to our eating. Um, let's see, what else do they secrete and synthesize? Well, we are now saying in science that 90% of our immune response begins in our gut. 90%. So if you don't like getting sick, start working on that gut. That's one of the best things you can do. Um, it's telling our cells. So we have these immune cells, and I've talked about these before, but it's an amazing system that reminds me of the military because some of the immune cells are ones that go out on reconnaissance. They go out, all over the body, and they're looking for invaders. They're looking for enemies that will attack our body. They're looking for what we call non-self cells. Okay. Then we have most of all the other immune cells are, they're either the infantry who come in and they're the first ones to the enemy, and they take care of it as fast as they can. When they run out of what they can do, then come in, I think of them as the air support, and so these layers upon layers upon layers come in to attack the enemy that is harmful to our body. Well, if we have an unhealthy balance in our gut, we cannot um, we cannot formulate a proper attack, nor can we have a strong defense. And we want both. So, so having a healthy gut is going to help our immune system immensely. The other thing that you might have heard of is that having a balanced microbiome in your gut um, is going to help the blood vessels all throughout your body. So we want blood vessels to be flexible. We want them to be resilient. We don't want them to be sticky. We don't want them to get clogged up. Well, when we have a healthy gut, they are producing things that help these blood vessels, those arteries and veins, be resilient and more flexible so that the blood can flow freely and keep us well. It's amazing all that happens in our gut. Every inflammatory disease is known to originate in our gut. And now we think 80 to 90% of our diseases start with inflammation. So it's just, our cells kind of needing help. They're not well, and they need help, and then they're causing harm to our body. So those are the things that We want to make sure that we understand, man, our gut is busy and it is working hard for us 24/7. So, with that in mind, how in the world do we build a healthy gut? I'm just going to run through these. The first thing is to eat real food. Real food doesn't come in a box, real food doesn't come in a package. Um, I think you understand what I mean when I say real food. And the basics are real good proteins, real healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. Those are the ones that have fiber involved in their content. So those are the basics, just real food, grown well, raised the way, and eating the things they were designed to eat. All of that feed your microbiome with the things that it needs. All of our cells need all of those things. So real food, proteins, fats, complex carbohydrates. The big thing with the complex carbohydrates is that they provide fiber, and the healthy bacteria just thrive on fiber. You may know that already. And that's why the second one is so important. You want to really include lots of vegetables. And if you can include cruciferous vegetables, like the broccoli and the cauliflower and chicory and just yeah, I don't know why I just lost my thought on the cabbage. There we go. Cabbage and Brussels sprouts, those kinds of things. Those are super fibrous. Our good bacteria just get so happy when we eat those things. So if we can eat those things many, many times a week, we will be fueling a good, healthy gut. And when we choose fruits, if we'll choose the low glycemic ones, well, how do we know? Yes, you can look it up. But if you want to know a good basic rule, eat the fruits that you eat the skin of. Okay, so the lowest glycemic fruits on the index, meaning they have the lowest fructose in them, are things like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, those kinds of things where the whole fruit, you're eating it, including the skin. They have super amounts of fiber. A banana is high glycemic. You don't eat the fruit, the skin of that, do you? So that's just a good rule. Pick out fruits that you're going to eat the skin of and eat it. Don't peel it. That's important because again, these good bacteria love fiber. That's what they thrive on. And another way to get in some vegetables is to ferment them. Fermented foods already have some bacteria incorporated in them. They've grown them through that fermentation process. So, the kimchi, the kefir, the natto, things like that. Fermented foods really help our gut a lot. They're already on their way to having good bacteria. And then the big takeaway too is to keep sugars very low. Keep added sugars very low. Keep if you want some desserts, eat some of those good fruits, but keep that sugar very low. And why is that? Does anybody know why we want to keep regular added sugar, table sugar low? We want to do that because the bad bacteria love the sugar. And so when they have what they need, bad bacteria, they love sugar. And when they have it, then they multiply. They're the ones going through reproduction and they push out the populations of the healthy bacteria. So if our way of eating is more towards, packaged foods that get turned into glucose right away because they're easily, quickly digested and turned right into glucose, then we're feeding the bad bacteria, and that's where we get into trouble. They start to flourish. We don't want the bad ones to flourish. We want to keep them at bay. So eating fiber and low, low, low sugar is the best way to keep a healthy gut. The other things you probably know, maybe you didn't realize they were attached to the health of your gut, but getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep in general is the best recommendation. And that's good sleep in a dark room, restful sleep so that you wake up rested. That helps your gut reset overnight. It also helps your brain reset overnight. And like I said, there's a bidirectional communication that goes on there. And then exercise helps our gut too, because when we exercise, our blood flow is better, even if it's just a walk. If you're in a disease process right now and you don't have a lot of energy for exercise, um, I would just encourage you to do what you can do. Just move your body in a way that feels good and doesn't exhaust you if you're in a disease process. Um, and if you're just a couch potato because you just haven't felt like exercising for a while and you're not in some sort of health challenge, then start slow and get moving because all that nutrition that you're digesting in that now healthy gut needs to move out and come into the blood and come to all of the other areas of your body. And your blood's the transport medium. And so the more you exercise, the healthier your heart gets, and the more you're able to make that flow. And then the last one I wanted to talk about is this resilient stress response. We're not going to get into this a whole lot tonight, but here's where my story comes in. One of our family members became very ill and had back-to-back very serious surgeries. And I was a part of all of that. So I was helping and advocating and caring for, and lasted for 9 months, so good part of a year. And at the end of that, I started realizing my gut was a mess, and it got worse and worse as those months of recovery were happening. Got worse and worse. And so fast forward to today, I now understand that all that stress I was under was causing that. I didn't change my eating habits. I kept eating well. I didn't change anything else, but I was under a lot of stress. And so I now understand that very personally because I got very sick. I lost a lot of weight and had to do a lot of testing to figure out what was going on and how I could help myself. And so one of the ways that I helped myself was to continue eating lots of vegetables and low glycemic fruits. But the fact is, most of us, in fact, in the United States, only 1 in 10 adults eat enough fruits and vegetables for a healthy gut microbiome. Um, so that's really most of us, isn't it? 1 in 10. There are more than 10 people in this room. So only 1 out of 10 of us do this, and it's hard work to get it done. We all know that for a fact. None of us says it's easy to eat plenty of, vegetables and eat real food all the time. But our family found a way to bridge that gap between what we know we need to eat, which has been learned through science. Gosh, every year we're told we should probably be eating a little more. The what we know we need to eat and the actually getting it eaten. And that is Juice Plus. And most of you know what Juice Plus is. Many of you know that our family's been eating it for 22 years. It changed the health trajectory of our family. Big thing for me was allergies gone. Um, the big thing for my husband was bronchitis. He had it annually, gone. So we had some real good immunological things that happened when we added Juice Plus, and we've never stopped. So we've been eating it for these 22 years, and we both say we will never stop eating it, until we're pushing up daisies. But this is one way that I would encourage you to consider adding that foundational um, nutrition to your healthy gut microbiome. Now, Juice Plus has come out with this powder in a little packet that you can just pour into some water and shake or stir it up and drink it. And this is the fruits, the vegetables, and the berries. So it has 30 different fruits and vegetables in this powder. and makes it a real easy and fun way to take it. It's really helpful for people who don't like to swallow a lot of pills or have already enough to swallow. The capsules are easy to swallow. They're not huge or anything, but this is a fun alternative to taking the capsules. Juice Plus uses a very gentle and proprietary way of drying the produce. Produce is non-GMO and actually cleaner than organic produce, and it's tested and it's to be safe. It's been scientifically, so many different scientific studies have been done on it. One of the biggest ones that is important to me is that we actually get it absorbed in our body when we swallow the capsules or when we drink the powders. It actually goes into the gut, and that's a big deal for me. And now there's an extra thing. So we want to be doing the foundational of all that list I told you, and that's eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, which the foundational parts of Juice Plus does help us add to. But now Juice Plus has a prebiotic and a probiotic. So I could probably ask for a show of hands. How many of us already take a probiotic? And I would bet most of us do. Yeah, it's been around, known for a while, especially after a round of antibiotics or something like that. We need to take a probiotic to replace the bacteria that the antibiotic killed. And so we're all pretty familiar with that. The thing about most probiotics on the market is that they actually don't make a difference. Two out of three people in one study said that they didn't notice any difference upon taking their probiotic. But we faithfully take it anyway because hey, they said I should. I'm going to do it, and I'm here to tell you that's what I was doing. I never noticed any difference in taking the probiotics, and I did a lot of research on my probiotics. Um, this is different. This one is encapsulated in a very well-researched and designed capsule that makes it past the acid in the stomach, which is what kills most of the probiotics on the market, makes it past that and into the gut. And then actually, if you want to think of it as seeds being planted all along small and large intestine, this one is showing that it's planting those bacteria all along the places that they are supposed to be, like where they flourish the best. It's a wonderful, wonderfully designed probiotic, and it has a multitude of different species of bacteria that are going to do all those list of things I gave you at the beginning. Those bacteria that are going to build our immune system, that are going to make our blood vessels um, flexible, that are going to decrease our inflammation, that are going to nourish our cells, all of those things, they've chosen to put in these species that you could research each one of them and know that those are the ones that are going to do these things. They've been shown to do these things in the gut. So very, very impressive probiotic. But the second thing that Juice Plus has done is add a prebiotic. And you know how we talked about eating lots of fiber because the good bacteria really like fiber? Well, this prebiotic helps us get more fiber of things that we normally don't eat. Um, Several different roots. There's inulin and chicory and things that we just don't normally consume in our normal produce that we buy at the grocery store, but that our good bacteria love and flourish with and just start reproducing with, which is what we want the good guys to do. We want them to grow, have lots of babies and keep it up because that's what makes our gut healthy. So the prebiotic helps feed this probiotic that we're swallowing. And the prebiotic is pretty neat because it's also like our superfood powder. It's in a packet. You can just dump it into some water and drink it. And you can put it in a smoothie or a shake or anything like that too. And the other thing that I've learned about this pre and probiotic, we don't have to worry about when we take it, and neither one of them need to be refrigerated. They are so well made that they don't have to be refrigerated to stay alive. they make it through the acid of the stomach to our intestines. And if you forget for breakfast, it's okay. Take it at lunch. If you forgot both breakfast and lunch, it's okay. Take it with dinner. Just get it in every day. And I'll tell you one personal story and then we'll open it up to questions. So, I started taking this only 2 weeks ago. And about 3 days after I started taking it, I helped a friend drive from North Carolina across the United States to Arizona. That's another story I can tell you if you want to know about it. Fabulous trip, fabulous experience. But it was only a point A to point B trip. And I was delivering her to her daughter who was having a baby. So, you know, my package was delivered healthy and safe. And then I flew out and headed home. I did not. And my trip home was one of those flight travel days you don't want to have. So I ended up being up all night, had to switch my flight. It was just a mess. I was up all night, literally, got in at 5 a.m. Then it was my longest teaching day. I taught all day. Then I had Bible study that night. Then I had to be up, late to pick someone up home and bring him to home from work. It was a long 36 hours. But after 3 days of driving and all of that, I was able to get up, do all my teaching, do that whole long day and night, get up the next day. All of a sudden, I realized about Thursday that because I got home on a Tuesday morning, I'm not tired. I'm not exhausted. I'm not having all this, fatigue. And I attribute that the only thing I changed was adding this pre and probiotic. So my gut is getting healthier in order that my whole body is getting healthier. So I, at my age of 63, um, was able to do that and not crash. And it's something we were 12-hour driving days. So that's something that, is a big deal. So that's my story about the pre and probiotic. And I couldn't recommend it more. It's super, super easy. And most of us take probiotics anyway, so it's part of our regimen. But it's going to support your gut in all the ways that I talked about. My question is this: if our gut microbiome impacts everything, which I think I've shown that it does, then it can and it will either positively or negatively impact our holidays. And I would love to see it impact your holidays and the rest of your days in a positive way. So um, I just recently heard this from a young woman who is an OT who's been taking Juice Plus about as long as I have, 22 years. And she said, Juice Plus is based on subscriptions. You get your best price. You can buy it just once, but you get your best price through a subscription, which our whole world is based on subscriptions now. She said, we have subscriptions for all kinds of things. There's Netflix, and I started thinking, what do we have? Yes, skincare, ESPN. Don't get me started on that. But news channels, our music apps, everything is an app now that we pay for monthly. Even my Microsoft, oh my goodness, I have to pay for that. It used to be free. But anyway, our world is built on that now. So why wouldn't we, this is what Jamie asked, why wouldn't we have one that invests in our health? Why would we balk at that? Guys, this is a big deal. And your health can be largely impacted by building this gut microbiome. So, um, Leanne, I don't know if you would like, haven't been very good at, oh, it's already 8:15. Um,
I am so thankful for this. Oh my goodness. And I did take pages of notes. I think a bunch of people were taking notes too. I know I was. We just don't realize what a really big deal our gut microbiome is. And so thank you for helping us to understand that and then showing us what we could do. Um, I think if anybody has any questions, we said we would have a little bit of time for that. We'd love
yeah.
to. Maybe we can stay on an extra 5 minutes or so. Does anybody have any questions?
Haley and it's Stacy.
Yes, great. Stacy on Greg's phone. I think they're together.
Yes, because my phone decided to die on us, so we had to quickly improvise and jump on his.
Great, great.
So does it I guess I would like to ask Lorianne if it matters with the prebiotic and probiotic. Do you have to take the prebiotic first in order to have it prepare your gut for the probiotic, or even vice versa? If you're putting the probiotic in first and then the prebiotic to feed it, does that matter?
Great
No,
question.
no, it is a great question. I love that. I've never been asked that. No, it doesn't matter which order. Just
Okay.
get them both in every day.
Okay.
That's your goal. Yeah,
Perfect. Makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
I
Excellent.
love it.
Easy.
Yeah,
I got a
Alan.
question.
Okay, Alan's got a question.
So, being an overachiever, if one is good, it would two be better? The prebiotic
Ah,
and probiotic.
so for both of those, you're wondering about pre and pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I'm gonna pass the buck to someone who would know more about your particular health.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't want to make a blanket statement, because you bring up a good thing, a point though. I heard Dr. Sachs saying, and she knows a lot about the gut microbiome. I heard her saying that if you have a sensitive gut, like let's say you know that you're in a bad dysbiotic state, then you'll want to start slowly on the prebiotic, um, and adding that fiber, and just start slowly. Open, the packet, maybe do a third of it a day for a few days, and then add and add and add and build in that regard. So I have heard her as a doctor say that, in terms of that. In terms of doubling it, um, that would probably largely depend on how how that felt in your gut.
Mhm.
Like how, in other words, just to be very clear and specific, whether it changed your bowel movements.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can, if you took on too much fiber, that would change your bowel habits. And this blend is actually a perfect blend for any of us, a
Mm.
perfect amount. So I don't think we really need to be doubling. I love it
Okay.
though. I love it. Because yeah, more fruits and vegetables, that's always a good idea, right? Yeah, yeah. I love it.
Great. Any other questions? Anybody want to ask a question? I don't see any questions in the chat.
And I did want to just say, if anybody needs to jump off, you won't be rude if you just need to leave. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what a treat to have this many people here and learning. And um, yeah, it's just a wonderful thing to be thinking about. I think our bodies are designed for us to participate in taking care of them. And how neat that science is providing us with more information, to just make tomorrow better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so
So
beautiful.
yeah,
So beautiful. Well, I can totally amen. I've been eating Juice Plus for 22 years as well. And then just recently added the Super Biome. Actually, for me, it's been about 6 weeks.
okay.
And I definitely saw that in the first few days, like clearer brain, less craving, less bloating. And I've been thinking about this even today. Like my energy has just been so consistently better. And
Good.
honestly, I didn't know that I could feel better. I already felt good prior to adding the superbiome, and I have great energy and I love that. But I definitely feel better, and I'm encouraging everybody I know to try it. And I love that you really do see the difference. So I've been taking a probiotic for forever and had not seen that. So I had not seen any difference. So, well, I so want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Loisann for teaching us. You're gifted at that, and we are blessed by that. Thank you so much. And for everybody on here, however you got the flyer for tonight, you'll see she's already committed to doing another gut health talk 3 weeks from tonight. Well, it's Nourish and Flourish, a better gut for a better you. So, who do you know that you're wishing had been on tonight? You can invite them to that. And if you don't think you could pass a quiz on this, you might want to get on just to listen again. That would be me. So very exciting. That's December 3rd, same time, same Zoom. And we have a beautiful flyer for that too. So just want to thank everybody for spending part of your evening with us. I hope this has been as much of a gift to you as it's been to us. Yeah. And thank you so much, Loisann. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
good to be with y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Talk to y'all soon.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.